Right now, you're checking out Jay Fresh and Friends right here at Pyro Radio, and I'm gassed that a real UK legend has joined us for another interview on today's show. On the phone line, we've got Swiss in the place. What's going on, man?
What's going on, my brother? How are you?
I'm really good, man. First and foremost, I hope you and the family and everyone around you are safe and well in these strange times. Is that the case?
Yes, we are, man. My uncle did catch COVID-19. He had underlying health issues and passed away within the last 2 weeks. So, this conversation is meaningful as it relates to the album and the theme of the album. And other than that, the rest of my family are good.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry to hear the news. And it's a crazy, crazy time right now. And it's in this time that you've also dropped some brand new music, a new album from yourself, Isolation and Music. The album has really just dropped, and it's 100% independent effort for you.
It is. Much like my first album, but back then we was on the street, doing sailor return, going from shop to shop, just trying to push the album and get it out there. And I had the cult classic Cry that came from that album. A lot of people, fixate on Cry because it had a video, but there's loads of different songs surrounding that that was on that album, similar vibe, similar theme. That a lot of people know about, but some don't. So check that out. That's on Spotify streaming right now. It's called Pain and Music, and this brand new one's called Isolation and Music.
Yeah, man, and we see that full circle, as it were, with the title. But I want to talk about streaming just there that you've mentioned, because people can jump on Spotify, they can hit up Swiss and check lots of records and tracks you've put out over the years as part of your back catalogue. But the new album is not on any streaming sites.
No, it's not. And I chose this business model because it's much more lucrative for independent artists to release on this platform called Bandcamp, because you get your money straight away and you get more money per product for your services to the consumer. So, for instance, with streaming, you really get minimal money. I mean, I've got the figures in front of me right now. So, for instance,
I knew you come prepared, man. You're always prepared. I love that.
Yeah. So with Amazon, for 111 streams, you get 9 pence. For Tidal, 143 streams, you get 7 pence. Apple Music, 185, you get 54 pence. Spotify, 357 streams, you get 28 pence. And for YouTube, 833 streams, you get 12p.
I mean, is that fair?
It's not fair. And it's not fair at all. And a lot of fans don't know this. So I think it's our duty as artists, producers, people that put music out on these platforms. It's important that we let the fans know exactly what we're getting back for the effort, blood, sweat, tears, money that we put into our craft, how much we're getting back. It doesn't equal the value of energy that you put in. Do you get what I'm saying? But with Bandcamp, it's a much more better resource to reciprocate that energy, to get back the money for the energy that you put in. And it's a much more intimate kind of relationship that you have with the fans. So a lot of DJs at the moment are using Bandcamp, a lot of DJs, producers, and it's not really a nationwide known platform for people that consume music to go to. But, with this album, I've decided to go this route because for the reasons I shared before, and we need to push this platform, man, for independent artists. So that's another reason why.
I mean, what I find interesting about that is that little soundbite as to why you've got your music on there, but on no streaming sites, not both, just no streaming sites at all. It just underlines the fact to me that I view you as a fan of your music as well as a friend, and you've always just done your own thing. You've always done your thing musically. You've just taken your lane, you've taken your direction, and not only within music, which can be hard enough sometimes with external pressure, but also in terms of how you present your art, how you put it out there. And that's something that definitely comes across with the album itself. I mean, 16 tracks on the album?
Yeah, 16. It was supposed to be 17, but I had a few hiccups, so it is 16. But I do have the option of adding more songs. So again, with Bandcamp, you can add more songs to your to your product that you put out to your album. Whereas with Spotify and the streaming platforms, I'm not sure you can do that. So that's another benefit of it. So yeah, 16-track album, $9.99, definitely worth the money. It's an accumulation of 3 years of input on and off. And I'm just happy that it's out, bro. You know, you're creative. Once you get it off your chest, you just want people to hear it, you get it out, and it's a big weight off your shoulders, and you're ready to just move forward to the next thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm ready to do, man.
Exactly. I mean, to people listening to Pyro Radio right now, they won't know that you and I had a phone call just a few hours ago, and we were just catching up about that album, and it was like, we need to stop talking, man, because we're going to start overlapping with some of the things we're going to talk about in the actual interview. But I know that putting the music out, especially when there's so much of an independent element to it, draining is perhaps not the right word, but it's definitely, you know, you use an awful lot of like energy, focus, care in getting that product out, that you get to a certain point, you're like, no, now it's ready to go out there. Let me resonate with the fans. Let me just kind of sit back and enjoy what happens thereafter. It is a good time, man. It's a positive time for you.
Definitely, man. And because of the isolate, I wasn't going to put this album out now. I was going to put it out more towards the end of the year. But because of this unfortunate, or maybe, you know, it's a funny time as well. That's why it's funny, because on one hand it's unfortunate, and on another hand it's fortunate, depending on how you look at it. It's a very interesting time, and I decided to put it out because most people are at home now, and their music choices have suddenly changed in what they want to listen to because of the mood of the world and the situation that we're in. Yeah. So a lot of people are on more of an introspective kind of state of mind, an emotional state. So, and that is, I'm looking for a word, that is predominantly kind of the kind of music I make. You know, you need to kind of sit back and take it in, listen, and think about what I'm saying. As well as that, I've got, you know, a good few club records on there and different types of vibes, but it's definitely music for the moment. I tweeted something the other day, or posted something on Instagram. I said it's present day music for the present, but long lasting, something to those type of words. You get me? So, and which is the type of music that I tried, the type of standard that I tried to hit, whether it's a Daily Duppy freestyle, behind bars, or something that I push out that is a song or a project. You know, I just tried to keep a certain standard, and hopefully people will accept it as that and support it, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's always musically. That's always what I've known you for. Is not only doing tracks that people would say was socially conscious or whatever, but these are tracks of a legacy. And you started the interview, you mentioned Cry, of course. That's always like a huge achievement within your kind of musical history, but it's records that do stand the test of time. You know, not records that just sound old, in inverted commas. It's the message, it's what's in there. And now when we jump into your album, and there's quite a few tracks that kind of leapt out at me straight away. Gonna Be Alright really jumped out to me because there were so many messages in there, and I've got one here. You quoted, "Take a moment to yourself, don't reject it. When was the last time you reflected?"
There you go. Yeah, you know, in this fast-paced world, in the rat race, in this this capitalistic type of social environment that we're in, everyone is always putting out energy. Everyone's in competition with each other, and everyone's trying to give an output of energy that isn't realistic to your natural human flow. You get me? And you're just trying to keep up with whether it's a mortgage or paying bills or looking a certain way online, you know, using brands to symbolically show that you're doing well. It's very draining, bro. You know, it's very draining. A lot of people don't get to sit back and reflect and focus on their human self. And that's the advantage of this time that I'm talking about when I say on one hand, you know, you can look at it negatively, but on the other hand, you can look at it positively because you get more time to spend on yourself, spend with your family, and think about the things that really matter in life. I was listening to the Joe Budden podcast recently, and he was basically saying, this time has made us realize, him and his co-hosts realize, that a lot of the shit that we indulge in, excuse my language, a lot of the things that we indulge in day to day in our normal world don't mean nothing. It literally doesn't mean nothing. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't really give back to the core of yourself. Do you get what I'm saying? And yeah, I think that line kind of speaks to that you brought up, you know.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is why timing-wise, when you mentioned that the album, you weren't kind of going to put it out at this time, then it made sense, and then you had some bespoke content and messages that really resonated in this exact time that we're living, means that as a fan of the music and absorbing and supporting all the corners of hip-hop and grime, like, it was refreshing and it was dope to hear that. I mean, jumping into some more tracks off the album, Fall Down, and listening to that, and that's such a open, honest, you've touched on financial struggles there, you've shown that vulnerability and that openness that perhaps A, some people don't like putting on tracks, and B, at a time now where even more so people can kind of really absorb what you're saying, it can resonate with them. I mean, it's a powerful record, man.
So basically, at every level of society that you're at, whether you're upper class, middle class, lower class, or underclass, really struggling. What am I trying to say? You have your struggles. You have your financial struggles. You have your family struggles. You have your emotional struggles. And a lot of people tend to lay their hat on the fact that they make real music. But a lot of people don't make vulnerable music. And there's a difference between vulnerable music and real music. Real music comes under the category of, I do real shit, whether it be selling drugs, whether it be reacting to situations violently, whether it be, promiscuousness with girls, a lot of, from a male's perspective, or for females now, there's that whole narrative of, having a lot of sex and skanking guys and doing all that kind of stuff for the younger generation. Mm-hmm. But no one tends to make vulnerable music where they're just putting themselves out there and allowing themselves to somewhat be criticized if that's the case. Do you get what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, truth resonates, bro. When you go home, you sit back and you actually think about your life or the people around you. Everyone goes through struggles, and vulnerable music hits that spot where you can relate to it in a way that is a silent truth that, a lot of people don't talk about, but you relate to it, if you get what I'm saying. So, yeah.
Definitely, man. And sometimes getting those powerful messages across and getting them to really resonate and connect with people, having those conversations with your friends, sometimes doesn't quite cut it. But when it's in that musical form, it can kind of hit those spots in a way that, do you know what I mean? It hits those spots in a way that nothing else can. So, you know what I mean? I mean, I know you and I, we could be talking for a very, very long time, but there's one more track that I picked out off of the album, Slang Ebonics. Now, that really stood out to me. First and foremost, sonically, the track itself, as in the beat, the instrumental, is quite different from everything else that appeared on the album. And then also the message that is attached to that type of track really made that stand out. Now, for anyone who is yet to listen to the track, give us an insight into what it's about and why you felt it was important to put this into music.
So it's interesting that you put those two tracks after each other, because Show and Prove is the producer that made Fall Down. Show and Prove is the producer that made Slang Ebonics. And basically that tune is a offshoot from a historical hip hop song that Big L put out called Ebonics. Mm-hmm. And he's basically breaking down American slang and putting it in normal American English so that people will be able to understand the equivalence between slang and the normal language you use in American society at that time. Mm-hmm. And that tune always resonated with me, man. I thought that was just a fantastic and innovative creation. So with Sean Privy, he's a very hip-hop guy. You get me? He knows his history. He's not just any producer out there that's just doing music for the sake of it. He understands hip-hop. So when he brought that beat across to me, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a modern-day version of Ebonics.
Sick.
And kind of just break down patois, which is Jamaican slang that most people use on the street nowadays, and equate that to the normal English language that we use when we're in, our normal lives, talking to our mums or people that don't really use slang. Do you get what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's just one of those fun hip-hop songs with a banging beat that you can play in the club and relate to, because we all speak the same kind of slang language if you are in popular culture. You get me?
Yeah, man. Well, like I said, I thought the message was dope. The backstory's dope. The track itself is dope. And we're going to get into that right now here at Pyro Radio. All right, what's going on, people? It's me, Jay Fresh. You're locked into Pyro Radio this Monday night. Jay Fresh and Friends is the name of the show, and we are literally wrapping up an interview with a UK legend. Man like Swiss is on the phone. What's happening, man?
What's down on my brother?
Yeah, we're all good.
Is well, man. All is well, yeah, man.
Good to hear, man. Does the term legend sit well with you?
I take it, but I don't see myself as a legend. But I understand the journey that we've taken with our UK industry, why people would say that. And I'm going to go back to, I can't remember this lady's name, but if anyone remembers the film, if you're old enough, Do the Right Thing, there's that kind of fair-skinned black lady that is always at her window, just looking out the window. I can't remember her name in the movie. I can't remember her actual name. But basically, she was picking up an award once, and someone called her a legend. I think she was picking up a legend award. And she kind of dismissed the term as well. But she also said, if people want to call me that, and the root word of legend is basically legs. And if I'm the legs that was able to create a foundation myself and the crew that I came up with, that allowed people to walk, run and fly with what we're doing today, then I'll take that title. Do you get what I'm saying? I'll take that, not title, but I'll take that label as legend. You get me? If that's what it means.
I'll always refer to you as that, bro.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. But some people fall for their own hype, and that's another thing that you learn in the industry or in any business that you're doing, any competitive business, that you can't really fall for your own hype. You got to keep your nose down, keep your product going, and just try to keep yourself humble and work, as Papu says, work like a slave, live like a king, in a sense. You get me? Yeah.
Now that is a soundboy. Thanks very much for joining us. Don't forget, Isolation of Music, the brand new album from Swiss, is available right now. Head over to Bandcamp, look for Swiss World, and you can get all that music and support independent UK artists as well. And you'll pick up a lot of knowledge and some life guidance in the records as well. So thanks for joining us on the phone today, Swiss. Big up, bro.
Big up, my brother, man. Thanks for the interview. And yeah, man, support the album, man. Isolation of Music. Hope you like it. Peace.